thank God for changing my genotype from AS to AA.
I'm an evidence of the liberation mandate, even when the doctors gave up on me, but God did not give up on me.
For the past 40 years in my kindred where I come from, nobody has been able to start a building and successfully complete it. It doesn't matter how much money you have, but you can build anywhere else around the world, nearby towns, but you don't come home. A number of persons tried and very many of them died. The few who are alive today, they are broke. Some of them sick, broke that even poor people will call them broke. Okay, so this has been the situation, and funny enough, nobody has been able to say, okay, this is actually what the problem is. Some felt it is normal. So in 2020, I got a land for myself in the village, just to have a land. I had no plans of going to build at that moment. But then, fast forward to 2022, January 21 days fasting. I was in Obete market where I went to buy fruits to break my fast, when I had a voice like a question. Do you know you can fence and get that land between now and April? I turned, there was nobody behind me, so I knew it was the Holy Ghost. I said, what did you say? He said, yes, you can actually fence that land and get it between now and April. And by this time, I'm still struggling to finish my house in Enugu, where I live now. So, but I knew when, his instructions come and how to talk. After I had a voice, I turned home to tell my people that this is what I want to do. Several meetings were held because they know it was a side mission. Make me understand what I'm about to go into. In the last meeting, my other brother brought out a list of people who he know have tried this and how they ended. And of course, I know some of them. He mentioned of my uncle who was a serving military colonel in the army, who came home after he has built several estates and hotels outside of the city in other states of this country. Came home to fence his land, had an accident and died. Told me about one of my uncle who was a lecturer in the UK, returned home to fence his land, had an accident, died. Told me of one of my uncle who was a businessman in Port Harcourt, who started, after roofing, a whirlwind came, blew off his roof. And after 10 years, he came, re-roofed. 3 months later, he got sick and he died. The list is endless. Then I responded and I said, will God send me on this mission just to have me killed at this my age? With that, they left me to my fate. On the 19th of February, I returned home to my village with my wife, where we started the foundation for the fencing. And God helping us, by the end of March, we have finished fencing, the gate installed, the borehole drilled, and we locked the compound. On a certain Monday morning, while I was worshiping God, thanking Him for how far He has helped me with the fencing, His voice came again and said I should begin to prepare to go and raise the main building. He said He would tell me how to go about it. Right then, He said I should start buying materials and sending home. But before I started the main building, I sowed a seed into the Ark project, and I said a prayer within me. I said, God, if Bishop David Oyedepo will not die doing the Ark project, it means I will live to see the project finished. And if Bishop David Oyedepo will not get broke doing the Ark, it means I won't get broke doing this project. In April, I started buying blocks in barges, sending home, buying chippings, sand, cement. Now, 22nd morning, while I was worshiping God in my morning devotion, He said, do not go. If you go for that financial laying, you won't come back alive. So, okay, what do I do? He said, send your uncle to go. I said, okay. I called my uncle and said, you will be going to the village for the groundbreaking of the main building. So, on 25th of July 2022, on a Sunday morning, they went for the groundbreaking. He opened the ground for them, and they continued working. While my uncle left the side after the groundbreaking to go back to my father's house, which is a short distance from where my own house is, the two houses were going to swell up. and turned black. As I was walking home, the hands were swelling up. By the time he got home, after about 10 minutes walk, the cloth he wore tore because the hand was getting bigger than the size of the cloth. So with the hand swelling and all of that, the man started to go back to Abba the same day. And thank God we began to apply some kingdom mysteries, and in a couple of days, the hands came back to normal. And then the job continued. So at the end of September, we had to get into the roofing level. So I felt I need to go and see the house, make corrections before they start putting woods and sheets. And because I've been asked not to go, I felt I should also call my uncle to go again. But then, while I was still worshiping God, a certain morning again, he said, don't tell your uncle to go. If he goes, he won't come back alive. So what do I do? He said, I will have you go, but I will tell you how and when to go. So with that, I kept on waiting for the next instruction. The engineer had to wait until I returned home. Now on a certain day, I was a mechanic, serviced my car. It's about 3 p.m. in the afternoon when God said, the road is clear now. Move to the village now. I called my wife. I said, God said I should start going to the village now. So get ready to go and pick the kids with your car. I raced down to my house in Enugu, picked a few things with my oil, and I started driving to Imo State to Owerri, my town. I got into Owerri town at about 7:30 in the evening, and God said, don't go to the village now. Go to a hotel and sleep. I'll tell you when to move tomorrow morning. I got to a hotel and slept. The next morning I was praying and thanking God for Johnny Mercy. He said, don't go straight to the village. Pass through a certain village. When you get to some place, somewhere called Amafo in Imo State, he said you would meet 2 of your cousins. One is with a bike, one is without a bike. He said, hand over your car to the one without a bike. Join the bike. I will tell you the road to follow. Why the guy with the car will not drive through the main road. I drove to Amaf and I met the 2 of my cousins there. I did as instructed, and then God asked us to follow through a bush path, and that was how we got to the house. I saw what they were doing, made my corrections, and about to leave just to follow them. We said, no, now take over your car, tell them to go with their bike, follow this way. That was how I followed the direction, and then I came back to Enugu. And by the end of October, the roofing was completed. We're not planning on how to start with POP and maybe other things. On the 14th of November in the morning, around 10, I got a call that my uncle, who is the Igbo of the village, was murdered in his palace with other palace chiefs. So with that event, the project had to stop. I withdrew the workers just to give respect to the dead man. In February 2023, God spoke again, I should return home and continue the work. So I mobilized and returned to site. Installed the windows, the doors, did the plastering. About to start POP and tiling sometime in June 2023 when the activity of unknown gunmen worsened. So I had to withdraw the boys again from site, and between that June of 2023 till June 2024, no work was done there. But then on the 4th of June, God said, return back and continue. So I returned to site and we continued. This time around, both the POP people, the tilers, the plumbers, electricians, everyone was working the same time. And finally, sometime in the 4th of August, this 2024, everything was done just for me to come and see what they have done so far. So that fateful day, I arrived after I've commissioned cleaners to start cleaning the compound, packing everything out. I was waiting on the plumber to finish his maintenance and then enter the car with me to over the main town. Then from there, the next morning, we'll go out. And God said, leave the site now. Tell the man to join you the next day. Leave him and leave the site now. If you don't leave, you're on your own. So I told the plumber to stay and ensure he does his work and then to join me in the town the next day. 15 minutes after I left, I was at Obako Junction. The call came. So where are you? I said, I'm at Obako. Said, Tango. Said, keep going. So what happened? Said, the moment I left the site, the unknown gunmen stormed my community and started shooting sporadically. In fact, 2 boys, or rather a man and a boy that I met on my way driving out, I was told they were shot dead after I left. So when I got to the hotel room, I was worshiping God, thanking Him for safety. Then His voice came again. So if you remain in this hotel until 5:30 in the morning, you're on your own. So what do I say? Leave before 5:30. So by 5:25 the next morning, I was dressed, got into my car. By 5:27, I was already out of the hotel gates, driving. Now, around 7:30, I was at Okiwe, roundabout, when the call came. Where are you? I said, I'm at Okiwe. How did you escape? I said, escape. I said, the moment you left, around 6 o'clock, the non-government stormed again. This time around Owerri City. So they began from where the road where my hotel was, Hospital Road, through Port Harcourt Road, down to Okiwe, shooting, burning vehicles, setting police stations ablaze. It continued from that 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. They held the entire land on hostage. But before this time, I was already at Okiwe, on my way to Enugu. All these things happened behind me because I listened to that voice on Monday. The APC transport that I commissioned to send properties for the house furnishing told me they have delivered everything that I needed to furnish the house at my house in the village. By God's grace, on the 25th of August, I'm going for the housewarming and dedication. While the project was going on, there was no financial pressure on me of any kind. The resources were coming in every time as it were needed. There was nothing I was doing before that I had to stop because of the project. I used to pay my children's school fees in advance. Those things never stopped. I continued paying. I was paying for some persons, children from other people I don't even know. None of those things stopped. Rather, I even added to the list of the people I was paying school fees. God kept on supplying, and I don't even know how it happened, but I knew I put in tens of millions into that project. Even though I had less than 2 million when I started that project. And just within 2 years, supplies came, and to the glory of God today, that project is completed. Today, the siege of over 40 years, I've been broken. I'm the first in my village to start a building and finish successfully. I'm happy and I'm thanking God for how much He has helped Him. To Him be all the glory.